So if I sit them on an aquatic bench in the water, their feet most likely will just pop right up. And
Yeah.
they don't know how to get them back down. So I have to teach them how to sit and stand. But that sit stand translates to sit standing out of their chair, transferring with help if they're at that point where they have caregivers. I
Mm-hmm.
can get them strong enough, the caregivers, they can help the caregivers and become more independent.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these people will never be independent again, but keep, they can be more independent.
This episode of the Smart Athlete Podcast is brought to you by Solpre, skincare for athletes. Whether you're in the gym, on the mats, on the road, or in the pool, we protect your skin so you're more comfortable in your own body. To learn more, go to solpre.com. Welcome to the Smart Athlete Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Funk. Today, my guest is an NASM certified personal trainer, but more importantly, she actually has a lot of special certifications and kind of special things she does. She's certified in aquatic rehabilitation. She's certified aqua Pilates instructor, and she is the creator of Water is the New Gym. Welcome to the show, Debbie Booth.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for making time for me, Debbie. I know it's been a back and forth trying to figure out both of our schedules because you're busy doing your thing, and then I'm busy doing my own thing. So I'm always very appreciative when people make the time to sit and chat with me.
Well, I'm really flattered that you asked me to be on the show. It was a huge surprise, and thank you.
Well, the thing is, like, I sometimes am looking, and I also have an assistant help me look for people. And you, like we've talked about before the show started, are not the best at social media, and I'm not either. But I'm looking for people that are doing kind of unique and noteworthy things that are, both physical in nature, but also very intelligent. So, like, it I'll say, like, aquatic rehabilitation isn't necessarily unique to you, but it does seem like you've taken it and made it your own thing. So it was definitely like I really want to talk to you and see what you're doing.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
um, tell me a little bit about your office here. You were telling me you're finally putting your office back together. You've got your anatomy guy there behind you,
Mhm.
and then you're hiding all
Um,
your certifications on your shelf
uh,
behind you.
I just did a huge home remodel, so my office kind of became my catch-all, and I could kind of just get in and get out of it. That was about it. I did a lot of work from my bedroom for months while my whole house was being reconstructed. So I'm back at my office. It is a little messy, so hopefully you can only see the top, not the bottom. There's some things on the floor. But I have my normal, fitness things in my office, exercise bands and a fitness ball and my guy on the wall,
Hmm.
um, which I love because it just kind of helps me refresh. Because one of the main thing I do really with water is the new gym is take land exercise and put it to water and put it back. So
Right.
my guy on the wall there really sometimes helps when I have people complaining about specific things, and I don't have to go looking through a book. I can go to him. I should name him.
Oh
I
yeah.
do that. Yeah. That'd be kind of fun. But
Yeah, I know anytime I'm injured, I'm always like, I think about where the pain is, and then I'm like looking up anatomical models, and I'm like, oh, I need to figure out like specifically what the issue is, not just like something in my calf hurts. It's no longer like you know, this particular muscle group is the issue, so I can actually target it. And then, I mean, that's obviously a big part of what you do. I mean, as a professional, is probably in a more professional capacity than my like layman's googling, trying to figure out my own problem, but helping your clients kind of get back on their feet. So uh you gave me the run through before the show, but for the show, kind of give me the run through of what is Water's the New Gym. What are you doing there?
so basically, what I do, my background, I'm an athlete. I've been an athlete my whole life, um, and I've had my own set of injuries. So that's really what led me to the water. I had ruptured a disc when I was 35 from playing in a batting cage with my nieces and nephews and my own kids. So that's kind of what spurred it. I had surgery, had a doctor, a neurosurgeon, renowned neurosurgeon from Johns Hopkins Hospital, tell me that I didn't need physical therapy after surgery, that I could just go back to my life. What he saw when he looked at me was a young, fit athlete. I didn't require any special treatment. What
Mm-hmm.
really happened was I went back to the gym, tried to go back to my routine, which was pretty heavy in golf, volleyball, aerobics, weightlifting,
Yeah.
parenting. I
Right.
had young and kept um, heading right back into that pain cycle, and I couldn't get out, and the pain was excruciating. So I finally found my own people, and the therapist ordered me out of the gym, which was painful to be told you can't go to the gym anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, but it was the best thing that happened, and I ended up in a pool. So I could only do aquatic exercise um, for months and months and months and months until I was strong enough and was out of that pain cycle far enough that I could go back to the gym and start doing, actual gym exercises. That's how I got into this realm. And that would be 20 years ago, 21 years ago.
Did you have
So
anybody to guide you in the pool, or were you kind of on your own?
I was kind of on my own, and the Aquatic Rehabilitation Institute really was just establishing themselves. The pioneers in this industry were just starting out,
Mm-hmm.
so it was pretty new here in the U.S. So it was kind of cool. So I kind of grown up with this industry, and then for years following, I coached. I've I coached lacrosse, started some lacrosse programs in different states, and had injured athletes, worked with them, um, a lot of knee injuries, shin splints, things like that. So I've had to keep abreast of land and aquatic to, to keep them on the field. You can't have your, ace player injured.
Mm-hmm.
You got to keep them going. So that's really where it was born from. And then now a lot of my population is 50 and older, and there are a lot of surgical patients. So or masters athletes that are injured,
Mm-hmm.
and or looking to limit their land training and train in the water more.
Mm-hmm.
So there's kind of two ways to go. Some people think if you're injured, you go right into the pool, and and it's for old people and injured people. But there are also a ton of athletes using the pool, as well as our military using
Mm-hmm.
the pool to train so that their athletes and military personnel are not so beat up from land. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I myself cross trained to run half marathons in the pool. So I ran more in the pool than I did on land, and had my most amazing years when I was doing it that way.
Where are you actually using like an underwater treadmill, or are you aqua jogging?
Now, aqua jogging, tethering to the wall.
Okay.
I wish my dream is to have that HydroWorks underwater pool. On my website, I ran in that pool in California when I
Mm-hmm.
did the Paraplegics master training certification. And let me tell you what, I was sweating 30 minutes after I was done. I was dressed and still sweating. It was rough. It was really hard, but it was also amazing. I also on that I think in the website, I'm sure there's a gentleman who couldn't walk. He was wheelchair bound, and we put weights on his legs, and he was able to walk with that treadmill independently.
Yeah, I mean those machines are really cool, but as you know, they're pretty cost prohibitive for the vast majority of, I'll say, gym owners, or like, because they're so specialized too. It's like almost just like a hospital type item. Kind of like there are more of these, but like the zero G treadmill, I'm sure you've seen that as well. That it has like a skirt that goes around you and essentially holds you up, so you're not putting as much weight on the treadmill. They're I don't know how much the aqua treadmills are, but I know the zero Gs are somewhere around like 20 grand a machine, something like that. It, for such a specialized piece of equipment, you got to have a lot of gym patrons to to justify that.
Right. Well, in the aqua world, they have individual aqua tanks that
Hmm.
have treadmills. So it's kind of like that zero G gravity one. But then there's also pools. So HydroWorks
Oh, okay.
builds pools where the entire bottom moves, and the bottom of the pool comes up to deck surface, so you can roll somebody in a wheelchair. They
Okay.
and there's rails, and they can stand up and lower the treadmill down, and they can literally walk. And we use equipment to get somebody who's neurologically impaired to feel their feet.
Okay.
So, for example, my quadriplegic lady, I tried to send you a video of her so you could see her. She's really pretty amazing. Um, I weight her feet. So she has braces and wears full tennis shoes on her feet. The
Hmm.
braces are into her shoes. Then I put 5 pounds on each leg. Now she knows where her feet are. So she can stand up and she hangs on to me and she can walk and goes to the side of the pool. We'll put her back to the pool and we'll march. We'll use the pool for support and march, do various core exercises, both with her back to the wall and facing the wall. Because
Hmm.
we she has a rail on the inside of her pool that she's able to use. And her family is just amazed that she can do any of these things. And for her, she has a tracheotomy, so she's breathing through it's about the diameter of a pencil. So she's non-speaking. We
Hmm.
can't submerge her. Um, she's limited mobility hand wise, but we've been able to modify some equipment and she can stay fit. So she had a serious bout of pneumonia back in December, and she survived it, and she's doing much better now. So it's really incredible for her. It's life changing. Otherwise, she's on her back or in a chair. That's
Yeah.
her life.
Yeah.
You pretty cool.
Well, it kind of makes me wonder, and this isn't really something that, and they kind of, I guess it shows you a little bit the selfish nature of people, but like, I kind of wonder now, given what you've said, I've never really thought about, because I'm able-bodied, I've never really thought about this, but like, in your experience, how often are we basically labeling somebody as paraplegic or quadriplegic when actually they have some mobility in their limbs, but they just don't have enough strength or mobility to, move about on land, I guess.
Correct. So when you take gravity away, which is what the water does,
Hmm.
so if you're submerged waist deep, you lose 50% of your gravity. So take somebody, I mean, we'll go to the illness side first. So take somebody obese, take somebody with severe low back pain, hip, knee pain, um, scoliosis, MS, Parkinson's, balance disorder, neurologically disordered people, put them in the water. Now they don't have gravity and they have the support of the water. So they have something kind of helping them hold up,
Hmm.
stand up, and then you can get them moving. And it's such a weird sensation for them because it's the water is backwards to land. If you fall down on land, you just stand up. When you fall down in the water, you will float up.
Hmm.
So somebody who's not very strong, that's one thing we have to watch is, their limbs will just float right up. And it's
Yeah.
kind of freaky. So if I sit them on an aquatic bench in the water, their feet most likely will just pop right up. And they
Yeah.
they don't know how to get them back down. So I have to teach them how to sit and stand. But that sit stand translates to sit standing out of their chair, transferring with help if they're at that point where they have caregivers. I
Hmm.
can get them strong enough, the caregivers, they can help the caregivers and become more independent.
Hmm.
Some of these people will never be independent again, but keep, they can be more independent. The other biggest thing I see with the water is that the hydrostatic pressure in the water changes blood flow through the body.
Okay.
So your heart rate drops 15 to 17 beats a minute. So if you have a heart condition or like in case of obesity, um, your heart slows down, but the blood is pumping more efficiently because the pressure of the water is pushing it from your feet all the way through heart, lungs, brain. So I have a couple, one major stroke victim. I've had more, but one I'm still working with, and a couple just TBI incidences, um, and cognitive decline. And that changes in the water over time. Their
Because of
skin
the
color
increased blood
changes
flow.
because the blood flows. So, like when you see somebody with poor circulation, they might have ashen, kind of grayish skin.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of not always with you. You know, you talk to them and they kind of float off, and I get them to refocus and pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
I have some that's the goal, is the cognitive part of it. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's really amazing. And changes happen and they happen pretty rapidly. So it's amazing because everybody's different. Then I go to my hip lady who had hip surgery and released from therapy, comes to me, and we just get her up and rocking and rolling so she can live her life.
Mm-hmm.
you know it runs the gamut. My athlete who had knee surgery and she's back out playing the college lacrosse now. It's crazy. Or just the person that wants to train, like I said, and doesn't want to train as hard on land because maybe they're already feeling it. Who knows? It's cool. You go and look and see how many colleges, or how many universities, and like I said, the military are putting pools in to keep their athletes healthy. Plus professional sports.
Yeah.
I should send you that. Cool.
I mean, so most of your clients are, I'll say, older or have some kind of uh, debilitating issue that makes movement tough. Correct? That's who you mostly work with.
That's a lot of my population. So I
Okay.
pretty much specialize on. I work in a facility. You have to be 50 or married to somebody 50 years old. And
Okay.
however, I will say this: our facility has more masters athletes
Mm-hmm.
than most. So we run senior Olympics out of our facility.
Okay.
So we have the gamut of people. So what happens by the time, this is what I've noticed, by the time somebody gets to be in their 50s, which I'll admit I'm there, um, we've been doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. So now we have repetitive strain issues.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're playing their sport and they're finding that they're compensating, and then they start breaking down and realize they got to fix it. And then quite honestly, we're in a society that people are in for the quick fix.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can replace my knee, great. Oh, it's only going to be 6 weeks, great. Well, that's not really how it goes. And once they get caught, they realize that, oh, well, it's 6 weeks until I can do this, but I'm still not back where I need to be. So
Mm-hmm.
orthopedic surgery has come a long way, but for everybody, it's not a good outcome, or um, they don't go in strong. I don't know if that's making any sense. So I have a lot of
Yeah.
clients
Yeah.
that are headed for surgery and they come to me first and then go to surgery and then come back to me after therapy. And their outcomes are incredible.
Yeah.
But in strong, good blood flow, good muscle, come back and they're out running again,
Mm-hmm.
biking, playing, you know. I work with a lot of motivated people that are not going to sit on the sideline.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm traveling. And that's what's cool about what I do.